Hey, I'm Jim Parr.
Hey, I'm Jody Parr. This is Tiny Tiara Parr.
Tuttle's back here hiding out.
We're back for part 2.
It sounds like we're going to give you a little journey on how we met, and which is an interesting story in itself. So you might get a little chuckle out of this, but I don't know. I'll let her tell it because she tells it best.
Now, I'll tell you the short version of how we met. So you've already, on the first video, we told you guys how he's from originally California, then Minnesota. I'm originally from Mississippi. And so we ended up meeting in Orange Beach, Alabama. I was living there, had been there for a while, and he was visiting doing his Clean Air Green Tour, which you might want to explain that a little bit.
Yeah, it wasn't a cleaning company. It was, so I did a tour back in 2007, a marketing tour, mobile marketing, and something I came up with to support sustainable products, green products. That was the thing that was coming in before the big .com bubble drop or whatever. But it sustained itself, and so we go around, and the first year I did 40 states and 120 cities in about 5 or 6 months, and just stopping at different places and talking about different products that we supported, and they were green products. One stop, we had several stops, or 50 or more stops at Lowe's stores, and promoting their Bosch home appliances, the energy efficient appliances. So that's what I do, is marketing, and of course I've done everything, but I've done that for a number of years. So,
and when he says everything, he means everything. He is definitely a jack of all trades, which fascinates me and fascinates anybody who meets him, because he's done everything from owning 3 restaurants to being a tow truck driver.
And even being a junkyard dog. I told her the other day, that was one thing she didn't know that about me, is that I used to be a parts puller at a junkyard and drive around an old beat up car, and somebody say I need a starter out of a old Pacer or something like that, or a Pontiac, whatever, and I'd go pull that starter out and then run it up to the front desk and some person that was waiting for it. So
we actually share these stories because we're taking you guys on a journey. That journey is what we'll get into, but we want to kind of give you just a backstory of how this all even came about. He's also a flight paramedic too, so he's definitely a jack of all trades, but he's just as genuine as he is intelligent. So I'm very blessed to have him as a husband. We did meet in Orange Beach, Alabama. He was on this tour. I was living there. We met at a pizzeria, where it's a really funny story. There was actually these raccoons that lived up in the attic area, and they would come down if you were playing pool or something, and they would steal your whole entire pizza and they would take it back up. So that's how we initially met, and I actually went on the road with him after that. You want to know somebody, go in like tight quarters with them like that. He learned real quick I was not a morning person at the time, and he was. Like, he's up at the dawn of the day and ready to go and ready to work, and he's always had that work ethic in him. So we ended up getting married after that. I'm taking you guys fast through this because our real goal behind this YouTube channel is what we're doing now. So we got married, and do you want to pick up on after that?
We got married on the beach in Orange Beach, and I'm not sure where to go with this.
So after we got married, we stayed in Orange Beach for about 10 years. We loved it very much. However, we did go through the oil spill, which was a game changer. We lived literally like probably about 2 miles from our offices, and it went from taking 10 minutes to 2 hours some days. We felt the calling to Tennessee, and he wanted to move to Tennessee in like 2013, and I just was not on board at that time. And then the opportunity came back around. So how he ended up in the Nashville area in 2013, you...
Yeah, I started a record company with a partner of mine. And so we were in the music industry, had a office on Music Row in the heart of the music industry. And but it wasn't all that. It was interesting, and we'll just say that because anybody in the music industry knows what I'm talking about. But it wasn't what I thought it was, and it was probably good that we didn't move at that time because it wasn't centered around God and the direction that we typically go. Yeah. And so the timing that we moved was the right timing because we were anxious to get out of Orange Beach, believe it or not. So
yeah, for sure. So we knew he was being called to Tennessee area, and in 2017 I was on board with that. A lot of times, guys, God will take us through these faith walks and you don't understand what he's doing, and you're just like, okay, though, we are called to be obedient. And so we were, and we completely decided to do this in January of 2017. We were moved and gone out of Orange Beach by February. I'm not going to give the exact date, but his birthday, when he turned 50. And so it was a big move, but it was something that we're now seeing why God had us do. Do you want to pick up after that?
Yeah, so we moved, and it was interesting because we found a house up in Brentwood, a rental house that sight unseen. We just saw it online, and let me just say this. When you see the pictures, real estate pictures online, they stretch everything. The living room is stretched, the kitchen is stretched, the bedroom is super stretched, and it was a nice house, but it wasn't. We got there, and it just didn't feel right where we were, and so we started looking around, and we went through some good times and tough times, and my wife was upset and about some things, and I remember one morning I went to the YMCA to work out, and then I saw a house that was for rent up on a hill, and my deal was, I don't want to rent anymore. I'm tired of renting. We rented in Orange Beach, a condo down there, a couple of condos and a house, and I just wanted to own something. So my criteria was, if we can rent this and then buy it, that's what we'll do. So long story short, 8 months after we got there, we rented this house, and we were on a 12-month lease and with an option to buy, locked in a price. It seemed like it was going to be our forever home, and we fixed it up and did a lot of work that it needed. And but then COVID hit, and then it was a game changer, as we all know. Fear of different things set in, and it was just, I'll go into greater detail, but it was just the fact that we couldn't trust our government and different things like that. And at least that's what I saw, and being kind of in that paramedic, sheriff's department background. I was on a SWAT team. I just knew that we had to go into somewhat what I said, in 2007, self-sustainable, and be able to sustain for ourselves, our food, our water, everything else. So she'll pick up from there.
Yeah, so he started to tell me, we are going to, I feel like we're going to sell our home. And first time I saw this house, y'all, I was like just blown away. I was like, that is it. That is my unicorn. Because I was looking for this unicorn house. That is my unicorn. Like, this is the house that we're going to live forever and grow old in. And this has been such a learning process, because with God, we can either trust his plan or fight his plan. And I fought his plan for a little bit because I so thought in my mind, and the enemy's very deceiving in this. I felt like this was going to be my forever home. So I fought anything that came against that. But God was slowly preparing me for something so much bigger than I could ever imagine. And I had something very traumatic happen to me when I was a teenager at the age of 18. And I may share more with that later, not right now. But that story I had blocked for many, many, many years. And when we moved to Tennessee, and especially when we were living in this house, God had me open up about my story. And so when I did, it began to open other doors. And one thing about God's planning and God's timing is you're not going to know one day from the next day. So one day you could be fighting, I'm never going to sell this house. And then the next day you can be praying and God say, this is what I want you to do. And you just are obedient to that. And so that's what I did. That's what my husband did. We ended up putting up our house for sale. Well, then the question is, where are we going to go?
Had no idea.
No clue.
And let me just go back to Orange Beach. We always lived in the top floor of a condo for a lot of reasons. It was pretty. But another reason is I was from the north, and being from the north, you think, oh, the south, they got snakes, they got spiders, they got this. So I figured being in the top floor, you're going to be the furthest away. So moving into the country and buying land in the country was the furthest thing from my mind.
I didn't even want to do it. Not from Mississippi. I was like, no, I don't want to go out to the country.
But the reality is, knock on wood, we haven't ran into a lot of snakes and creepy crawlies, but that's the country, and but what they say, and I probably ran into more things when I was a kid living in California, getting bit by a rattlesnake and things like that, but it turns out it's pretty awesome. When you start looking at property, and we went around, my SUV was in the shop, and we were driving her little two-wheel drive convertible in the snow,
in the ice,
and sliding backwards down hills, because there's a lot of hills in Tennessee, and I mean a lot of hills, and we're sliding backwards trying to go see a place, and so we're like, okay, that's not a good idea, and we found this place after looking everywhere, and we were to the point where it was kind of like, are we really going to find a place? And we just wanted to lock in a place, kind of myself anyways. I'm not saying I'm not spiritual, but she's more faith-driven, and I'm more logical driven, strategically, because I've always been in that role mindset, okay, what if this or what if that, and she's like, God will just provide, but it was to the point where we found this place, kind of like we found our other house in Brentwood, and we found a place, and we knew it was it. We had to climb this mountain, in the snow, and we didn't have boots on, we didn't have winter gear on, we
weren't prepared. We were not prepared to do that, but we were really praying hard for where that place was, and me and some of my spiritual sisters had heard the same word from God, and that word was above and beyond. And so I knew that property that we were meant to be on, when I saw it, I knew that the Lord would let me know that. And once we were climbing up in the wrong shoes, and we went halfway and we stopped, and then Jimmy looked at me and he said, do you want to keep climbing? And I'm like, of course, because I knew I was looking for that above and beyond. And so we kept climbing, guys, and we came to the top of this mountain. I'll call it a mountain. I guess it's a big hill in Tennessee. I don't know. But anyways, when we got up there and just looked at this view, and I get cold chills. I looked at this view and I heard above and beyond. And we knew that was it. Mm-hmm. We knew that was the place.
But let me just say this. Okay, so we called our realtor, mm-hmm. and she's from our church at that time, and so of course she prayed with us, and we're part of a community group there, and but we said we found it, and so we went through. We had to sell our place, and
yeah.
that
was
was
the hype. This was the hype of when like everything was selling. I mean, it was like that whole COVID burst thing that happened.
So we were like, oh, it'll be gone next week. Well, it wasn't.
Nope.
It was weeks and weeks and weeks, and we're on a contingent offer,
months.
and we're
months.
Worried that, I mean, it was dang near a year or
well, it felt
8
that way.
months.
I think it was close to 8, maybe. Yeah. No.
So
26.
we didn't think. We just figured that the people that own this property were going to say, forget them, and that was me, yeah. So, but we ended up closing.
Yes.
I mean, that was the deal. We closed on the property that felt never ending, and then we had to do the move. And
so can I stop right there? So when we ended up going through this whole rigmarole with the showings, and we would have it all the way up to the day we were supposed to sign, and then that person would back out. And so it was like such a, again, faith walk. And I'm like, if this is meant to be for us, and this is a word for somebody, if something is meant to be for you, if your name is on it, God's going to make a way for it. Doesn't mean the enemy's not going to fight you all the way to that point. And so once our realtor said to us, like in 25 years of being a realtor, I've never seen anything like it. We were both right then, like, we're going to stand on faith, like, and Jimmy's like, well, do we sell? And I'm like, yeah, we sell, because this is God's plan. And there's always beauty when you wait. But we got it. We got it. We closed on it. And this is where the journey begins. So we're going to take you from the first moment of owning our land. Jimmy's going to show you this man right here, who I'm so proud of, my husband, has done everything along with me. I'm like Vanna White. I'm like, hand me this, hand me that. I do those things. But as far as the intelligence behind it, as far as the labor behind it and things like that, I help where I can. But this man has been driving this whole entire thing from day one. And we're going to take you on that journey with us. So we should have done this probably a year ago. We had people tell us, but as you know, anytime you're going through something that's overwhelming, it's trying to make the time to do it. The good news is we have documentation of everything, so we're going to walk you guys through this.
Yeah, we got videos, we got images, we got some incredible video. And so the project starts, and it wasn't easy. This is definitely one of those impossible builds that is possible. And because every time I drove by when we started the driveway, even before that, I'm like, how the heck are we going to build a house up there? And speaking of that, we were downsizing. This was a downsized project to basically pay cash for a house and downsize, and we're doing good so far. But we were to downsize, and this place is bigger than our last place.
It is.
But we realized, and we'll talk about that later on, is why it's bigger, and it's not for our will, it's for God's will. And so there's going to be some great things that are going to come of this place. We've talked about it, and I don't know if she wants to share about it now or just go into the...
Not yet.
Building.
Not yet. Nope. Because here's the thing, guys. We're a year in. We've got we will show you what we've got, but we want to start from the beginning and then show you where we're at now. The exciting thing is there's a lot for you guys to walk alongside us in this journey with us. One thing that is super cool, I love stories. I love how God shows up. We know He's always with us, but sometimes He shows up in such amazing ways. And when we started just clearing land and doing this property, we had a gentleman from this area come up and see us, and he was 92 years old. Yes, and he's kind of like the mayor of this area, and him and his girlfriend when they were very young, like I think he said.
He said 76 years ago, my girlfriend and I climbed this hill and put our initials
at
up
the
on
top
a tree.
on our hill. And so...
and so that tells you, I mean, those little God winks, you know?
Yes.
And of course, you know, as any homesteader, because that's what I consider myself anyways, I mean, there's a lot of reasons behind this, but we're building it as a sustainable place that will sustain itself without the outside world. We'll have food source, we'll have water source, we'll have electrical source. We do have electric up there right now that we ran up. We have water, but eventually that'll be converted to sustainable. But I just have to say, when I looked at different videos like Simple Life Reclaim and Wild Wonderful Adventures and some of these other people out there that have done this, it encouraged me. And so I just want to say thanks to some of those YouTubers out there. Leave your comments below, but and leave your channel below. I'd love to share that with other people, because that's what drove the encouragement of me, is to be able to do that. And of course, you heard on part one that I've got a YouTube channel, but it was more professional, and this is a life journey. Nobody's known my life. They're always like, what do you do? Or how do you make a living? Or how do you do this? And it's complicated, because I don't go by the world and work a 9-to-5 job. And I'm not one of those that wants to be, I guess, you know, in a 9-to-5 job, because you go to work, your mind is there, and you have no life outside of that. I hear it all the time, because I've coached a lot of people through that, to get out of that mindset. And so this was really a place to be, you know, to just release yourself and be in nature. And it's an awesome feeling.
We love it.
Just being out in the country. And what you see, like this praying mantis, my wife didn't even know what one was, and seeing that yesterday, and he's climbing on my arm and stuff, and he's so cool. And but you get to see things like that you wouldn't see in a city. And nothing against city life, but it's just a really cool thing.
Yeah, everybody has their own journey, and this is ours. But I do see a vision for where our place is going to be, and it's an amazing vision. And also, I just want to say, like, our friends pick on us all the time that we're green acres. So it took a lot for me to even want to be in the country. But again, when you line up with what God wants you to do, He will give you the desires of your heart. And I am loving being in the country. I love the people out there. But we're all different. And so we all have unique personalities, and some people love it and some people don't. And that's okay. Because that's your walk and what you're doing. This is just our journey. And so to start out, he started with the fence and then the driveway. And the driveway, guys, like, wow. I don't know if we should just, I think maybe we should just start doing videos and showing you guys. We just wanted to sit down and kind of lead you up to this point. But there's so many cool videos of just what we've done to even get to where we are today. Yeah.
And that driveway, as we speak about it, it's almost a mile long, all uphill. So we had to walk it to figure out the landscape on how we were going to do this driveway. And just to remember, you got to bring building supplies up. You got to bring concrete up. You got to bring big dump trucks and semi trucks. And, well, let's just say this, that the trucks, many of them, only made it halfway up the driveway. So how do you get that stuff up from there? And what do? Well, you just drive forward and drop it where you can, and then get it up there when you can. So
Or you get a tractor, and then we'll show you some videos of that where we had a tractor, like our trusses. We literally took them up.
Drug them
up the hill on a tractor, pulling the trailer, the trusses, because the big machinery wouldn't get them up there.
But we'll take you through the whole thing. We'll
Yeah.
take you through step by step, so the videos will follow our journey, and then you'll see where we're at today, which is it's my wife journals. I don't journal, which I probably should, but I'm glad that she does, because we can look back and say, okay, she'll say a year ago today we got one of our containers or something like that. So, hey, it's not easy, where we thought we'd be in our house by now. Right now we're staying in the guest house, and it's humbling, and like her cousin says, you have to die to self, and we had a lot of nice things, and but a lot of that just doesn't matter anymore. It's the mission of where we're going is what matters, and so it's not about stuff and the worldly stuff, and I have this vehicle, but I'd rather have this vehicle. It's not about that anymore. It's just about finishing this place and opening it up to a lot of people around the world, like literally opening it up. So
it's going to be a really big deal. And talking about vehicles, so I traded my convertible BMW in for a Jeep Wrangler, and all my Jeep people out there, like, I love it. So you don't ever know. And again, this is our journey. So we don't judge anybody, what they have or what they do. That's between them and God. This is just our journey. This is just what we have been called to do, and we know that. And so it is not a cakewalk. It is a faith walk. And I've been sharing stories since the very beginning of it. I share my stories on Instagram, but all my friends and even people that I haven't met in person have reached out and said, you guys really need to do a YouTube. Like, people need to be able to follow your journey up to where you guys are going and what you're doing, because it's so much bigger than just building a house. We are building a place of retreat. We are building, and I'll get into all that later. I don't want to jump ahead too far. But it is something that we really feel that we want to open up to allow you guys to follow us on this journey and these videos that we're going to be doing.
Yep. So hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification when a new video comes up. It may be a DIY video of me change the oil in the dang tractor.
Smart.
Or
he's so smart, y'all.
Building a workbench, or it might be one of our videos of our journey. So we're going to have a couple different playlists. The one playlist is here, so you can run through those videos and go through each segment. But we look forward to bringing you on this crazy journey of ours. So it's been a crazy journey for almost 14 years, but we're just doing this because a lot of people have told us that we need to do this, and
so we're documenting.
So we're documenting and sharing it with you. So look forward to maybe meeting you all one day and go from there. So
be blessed. We'll see you guys soon.
See ya.
Bye.